Hey everyone, Dan at Ochiko Bushcraft. Well, I did a video recently on my new Wilderness Scout and Survival Kit that I will be using throughout the rest of this year. I did a loadout for you guys, and I told you at the end of that video that that was just going to be the start of a series, that we're going to come back and we're going to break out different parts of this kit, you know, the fire kit, the water purification kit, and we're going to use them. So today we're actually going to start with the knife that I have chosen to carry as the main knife with this kit. That knife is the Esee. So we're going to talk a little bit about why I chose that knife, and we're going to put this knife to work out here and have it do some work for us. And you'll see perhaps why this is, in my opinion, the absolute best overall knife that you can carry with a kit like this for your main knife. Now again, I do have the Esee JG3 over here as a backup knife, and my Ochiko bush knife is on my belt as always. But again, this is not part of the kit. This knife is a part of me when I'm out here. So the knife for this kit, the main knife, is the Esee with the JG3 as the backup knife. All right, let's go over here and I'll put this to work and show you some of the reasons that I think the Esee is the best knife for a kit like this. Okay, first thing, when I'm doing a kit like this, I'm looking for kind of a knife that will do it all. Something like the Esee Hungless, which I use down around my camp for building my shelters, is just too big and heavy to be walking all day long up and down this mountainous terrain. I feel the weight of it on my leg. On the other hand, whereas a knife like this is an absolute perfect bush knife for doing bushcraft and carving and batoning, preparation, different things around camp, it does have some disadvantages because of its smaller size. So I'm looking for something right in the middle, something that's still big enough to baton, to chop, to delimb with, and yet small enough that I can carve with, light enough that I do not feel the weight on my leg, but big enough, again, that I can chop with it or use, worst case scenario, self-defense. So, Esee fits that bill perfectly. I don't feel the weight of it on my leg at all. I've got it set up in a quick draw holster. Quick draw sheath. So I can get it out in a split second if I need to, if something's going on and I need to get it out. It's at hand, it's easy to draw out, and it feels great. So let me grab something here. All right, Esee, as light as it is, and it is very, very light in the hand. You go on Amazon or Knife Connection or whatever, you can look up at all the specs. But basically it's called the Esee because it's a 6-inch blade. It's very, very light in the hand. The choil on it is in just the right place to choke up and use this for small carving, and it's still plenty big enough and heavy enough to delimb. I need to get a shelter in a hurry. The storm's coming in. And just like that, I can start delimbing and getting fir boughs down if I need to do an emergency shelter. Okay, trying to do that with a smaller knife is going to be a lot harder, a lot more work. Trying to do it with a big knife just means I'm going to have to carry in a lot more weight. So let's go over here and do something else. Esee is a perfect knife for batoning with. I need to get a pole or something down to make a shelter. I need to grab a heavier baton. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had a decent baton, but the baton broke. But I'm cutting through a pole, batoning through a pole here. It broke my baton again. But there you go. So if I need to get a pull down for shelter and I don't have a saw, the Esee will stand up to the use. After that, still popping all the hair off my hand. No change on the edge. All right, it's big enough to chop. Get some poles. We'll baton some more here in a minute. It's also plenty small enough to get small shavings. I got a piece of fat wood here. I want to get some fine curls and some fine shavings that I can light for a fire. You guys can see that right there. I can get fine curls quick and easy with the Esee. I want a little bit bigger stuff to put on top of those. I just use a little more pressure. And I have some bigger stuff to hold the flame longer. I can get smaller stuff to catch the spark. So the Esee is great. You need emergency shelter. You need emergency fire. You need to make some little toothpicks out here. Toothpick sized wood. That quick and easy, no problem. You're gonna have absolutely no problem getting down some fine sticks. What about carving? If I want to carve, let me grab something else. All right, I do have my small tarp that I showed you guys, which we will do some shelters with in the very near future because the snow is melting like crazy up here. And I was able to drive out here today several miles farther than I have been for a long time. So I got high hopes that within the next week or two, I'm going to be getting into some serious backcountry and into places that I haven't been since last November. But the Esee, you got this choil here. And a lot of knives, choils are just not a good fit for that particular knife. But on the Esee, the finger choil makes this blade absolutely perfect for carving. So carefully, I use that finger choil right here, lock my finger in tight, and I have got a little knot here. I'm going to actually baton that knot out. There we go. I've got a perfect size knife for carving, and again, in just a quick change, I can grab something that I need to baton through that's large, like that pole, chop limbs for a shelter, come back, make fine shavings for a fire, carve a tent stake or something. Like so. Square off this other end here. I'm going to take that little point right off the other end. I don't have a good place to hammer here. I'll move it over here. Okay. So we'll do that one more time here and square that off. So my end's squared off. I can pound that down into the ground. I need a 7-notch or something. That's quick and easy. Put one right here. Again, I'm just choking up and using that finger choil. So I need emergency shelter, I need emergency fire and some fine shavings. I need to baton through a pole, delimb, make some quick tent stakes to get my tarp down in the ground. I can do that. You know, there's a 7-notch right there. I need to baton through some larger pieces of wood to make firewood. We can do that quick and easy. And worst case scenario, I need this for self-defense. Look at the design of that blade. It's light in the hand, it's fast, it's got an extremely aggressive point. I'm using grips from the Knife Connection. In fact, this whole setup, the sheath and everything is from the Knife Connection. And again, for me, it is just the absolute perfect knife for a small lightweight kit where I'm going to be hiking for miles and miles out away from camp, and highly recommended, the Esee 6. So there it is, guys. First piece of gear that we're going to take a look at from the kit. Again, we're going to come back as we get out here and the year begins, and we're going to use the fire kit, the water purification kit, and some of the other things in it. And always, if you want, refer back to the Wilderness Scout and Survival Kit loadout to see what all is in the kit as we go forward and break out different pieces and use them. Dan at Bushcraft. Thanks for watching, everyone.